Why do first impressions stick so stubbornly? You walk into a job interview. Within 7 seconds, the hiring manager has already made a judgment about you. And here's the wild part. That snap decision might shape the entire conversation, even if you're brilliant. So, why does our brain do this? And more importantly, why is it so hard to change someone's mind once they've made it up? Stick around, because understanding this is going to change how you show up in the world. Let me start with something called the primacy effect. Your brain is basically lazy. I mean that in the most scientific way possible. When you meet someone new, your brain takes that initial information and uses it like a template. It's fast, it's efficient, but it's also stubborn. Research shows that whatever you learn first about a person creates this mental framework that everything else gets filtered through. Imagine meeting a colleague who arrives late to the first meeting. Your brain files them under unreliable. Now, even if they're early to every single meeting after that, you're still seeing them through that original lens. The first impression sets the narrative, and narratives are sticky. The second reason is something psychologists call confirmation bias. Once your brain decides something, it goes hunting for proof that it's right. You notice all the times the late colleague is rushing, and you gloss right over the times they're prepared and present. It's not that you're being unfair on purpose. Your brain is just pattern matching. It's looking for data that confirms what it already believes. So, first impressions stick because your brain becomes an unconscious fact checker for its own initial judgment. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. There's something called the halo effect. If you make a strong, positive first impression, people assume you're good at everything else too. Ever notice how attractive people or charismatic people sometimes get away with things others wouldn't? Their initial positive impression creates this glow that shines over their other qualities. The reverse is true too, unfortunately. A bad first impression can make everything you do look worse than it actually is. You could give the presentation of your life, but if the first impression was clumsy, people are still thinking about that stumble. Then there's emotional weight. First impressions carry more emotional charge than later interactions. Meeting someone for the first time activates your brain's threat detection system. You're scanning for danger. You're sizing them up. All of that emotional intensity makes the memory stick harder. It's more vivid. It's stored deeper. Meanwhile, the 10th time you meet someone, there's less emotional energy. Your brain doesn't encode it as powerfully. So not only do first impressions come first, they come with this emotional glue that makes them harder to dislodge. The last piece is what researchers call the anchoring effect. That first impression acts like an anchor. It becomes your reference point. Everything that happens next gets compared to it. If someone introduced you as the shy one and that became your first impression, future confident moments get seen as exceptions rather than as real evidence that you're actually confident. The anchor stays in place and everything else orbits around it. So here's what I want you to do today. Knowing all of this, it means 2 things. First, if you're meeting someone important, a date, a boss, a potential friend, bring intention to those first moments. I'm not saying be fake, I'm saying be present. Make eye contact, be warm, show up as the version of yourself you actually want to be known as. That 7-second judgment is real and it matters. Second, and this is just as important, extend grace to people. You have formed first impressions about people in your life right now that might not be accurate. You've anchored them in place. Maybe it's time to actually look for evidence that contradicts your original judgment. Maybe it's time to let someone surprise you. First impressions stick stubbornly, yes, But they're not permanent if you consciously choose to revise them. That's the power you actually have.